things must come to an end as we say goodbye to Terence Hill as the knife-throwing, pretty-faced badass Cat Stevens and his Bluto-esque, burly, bear of a sidekick, Hutch Bessy, played perfectly by the always entertaining Bud Spencer. In the 1969 Western, La Collina degli Stivali, aka Boot Hill. The third and final ride for these great characters in Italian director Giuseppe Colizzi's Western trilogy that started with 1967's God Forgives, ... I don't! ! And followed a year later by 1968's Ace High. And although the production's budget seems to have gone down some since Ace High, it still manages just fine to be an excellent and exciting final installment that sets you up with a taste of the wacky slapstick humor that Terence Hill and Bud Spencer would later become best known for, with the two Trinity films and everything else they did together as a comedy action duo for the next 20 plus years. So yeah, Boot Hill can be a bit wacky at times, and is actually a bit plot heavy, so pay attention, class. I don't want to catch anybody sleeping. Because this time we're going to the friggin' circus. This is it, 1969's Boot Hill. And away we go. So the Italian credits roll here because the best copy I can find of this film is on YouTube. It's in HD and widescreen. And does actually have a few scenes that aren't dubbed into English, but it's only a matter of seconds of the movie, so, you know, who cares? It does add a few extra scenes, even though you might not know what the hell they're saying.
You're idiots too! Wake up!
Naja, aber mich haut so schnell nichts aus den Stiefeln. Ich werd's dir schon zeigen.
This is actually the first movie of this trilogy that I saw. I've had it on DVD for years, and it's not a very good print. Not in widescreen, not in HD. You can barely see what's going on. So this is the way to see it. And the movie starts off, of course, with another great spaghetti western soundtrack. I've yet to find a spaghetti western score that I didn't like. So here, a bunch of prospector-looking dudes are gambling at what I think is a craps table. I'm not really a gambling person, so I'm not sure here. They're gambling now. It's a really heated-looking game, too. And you'll notice in the credits that they were able to nab a few more established American character actors, like Victor Buono, who's best known for playing King Tut on the 1960s TV Batman series. It also features Lionel Stander. He's best known for playing that old guy on Heart to Heart. My boss always get me into wacky situations. That guy, that's what he's best known for.
This is my boss, Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire. By the way, my name is Max.
And he's in a lot of other spaghetti westerns. He was also in Once Upon a Time in the West. And of course, I could not forget about the great Woody Strode, who was in a ton of movies. I can't even list all of them off right now, but I'll say a few. He was in Spartacus, he was in The Ten Commandments, he was in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, he was in this. One of the last movies he was in 1995 in The Quick and the Dead, Sam Raimi one, with Sharon Stone and Gene Hackman. And also, like Lionel Stander, was in Once Upon a Time in the West briefly. And I think in these credits they spell his name wrong. I think they added an extra O here. It also features a young pre-SNL Mike Myers as a circus performer. Ah, just kidding. See what I mean now? Looks a lot like him. So then this heated craps game jump cuts right to the scene of a bunch of dudes all dancing together. Celebrating, having a real good time. You know, for a bunch of men dancing with each other anyway. Guess there were no women around. We then cut to a heated poker game this time, where the winner pours out the bag of gold dust that he just won. Did he need to do that? Now you gotta clean that shit up. Carefully sweep it back into that little cloth bag. There, you have fun with that there, buddy. Now, to be honest, I had to watch this film a lot of times before I figured out what this opening credits segment even had to do with the rest of the movie. So, these men dancing and celebrating here are prospectors, who have all staked claims in a gold mine, as prospectors tend to do. Sort of their thing. And this particular gold mine turned out to be a real hotspot, and all these prospectors are now going to be rich, because they've all staked claims in this mine. So, celebrate good times, I guess. Grab a dude and start dancing. And of course, some of these men went straight to town with their bags of gold dust, and hit the first gambling house they could find. And let it roll, baby. Which probably brought a lot of attention to themselves in town about their big discovery in the gold mine. Now a lot of this is explained later in the movie, so I'll get back to it later because then we cut right to the circus! The greatest show on earth! The clown tries to lure one of these average Joe prospectors into the circus tent to watch the show. This is one of them scenes that's in another language. But he's not interested, and that's too bad because there's a bunch of dancing ladies of the night in there too. Then enter graggly voiced character actor Lionel, who plays a character named Mammy, who works for the circus and introduces the next act, the Flying Men.
No flying men.
Which none of these dudes seem all that into after seeing all that boob. They're horny now and we throw men in tights at them. But the show must go on, we're treated to a little trapeze act here. And if you notice the music that plays during the trapeze act, is the same slow waltz that Eli Wallach had them play during the final showdown in the previous movie Ace High.
I want music.
He wants music.
That's when we cut to outside in the streets where we find Cat Stevens. We can hear the music still playing lately in the background, so we know he's in the general area of the circus. So we see Cat as he leaves some sort of company office in town. His beautiful blue eyes glowing in what is supposed to be the night, but is actually clearly some night filter they put on, but actually filmed during the day. Now, so as Cat is leaving, you can tell he's being real cautious, looking around and all, as if he's expecting to be attacked. Which does happen when someone shoots his horse out from under him as he's riding out of town. Ah, horse killed too. So sad. Oh, Wilbur, I'm dead. So Cat rolls away and takes cover as the armed men who attacked him start to close in. He then makes this cool double window jump move that wakes up this old coot and his wife who were trying to sleep. Well, pardon me, Gramps. Movies make jumping through windows look so easy and painless. It's not how it works in real life, trust me. Even after all that, Cat's still not out of the clear and is met with more gunfire. Boy, these guys really want Cat dead for some reason. Oh, he's even hit too. No, not Cat. I'm not sure which of his 9 lives he's on at this point. But Cat acts fast and steals a circus horse. He then thinks fast too and only uses the horse as a diversion to send his would-be killers after just the horse and not him, by bailing off the horse in mid-ride and quickly ducking behind a wagon, as they chase the lone horse out of town, assuming he's on it. Nice move, Cat, only you're still shot, and once they catch the horse, they'll figure it out. So cut to the next morning where we catch up with the traveling circus folk as they ride out of one town and on to the next one. Mammy drives one of the wagons with Woody Strode, who plays the leader of the trapeze artists, a man they call Thomas, a black circus performer named Thomas. That sound familiar? In the previous film, Ace High, Brock Peters played a black circus performer named Thomas. Is this supposed to be the same character, only played by a different actor? I would say no, since all the characters in the movie act like they're meeting for the first time. And this Thomas doesn't have the same personality either. Brock Peters was way more smiley than Woody Strode. It's just a weird coincidence, I guess, or a confusing writing choice, I don't know. So Mammy bitches about his horse being stolen last night, the one that was stolen by Cat.
It's an attraction for my show. It isn't only a horse.
As one of the other trapeze artists, a guy named Joe, discovers that Cat's been hiding out in one of their circus wagons this whole time. And he notices that even the circus wagon itself is bleeding. Jeez, is he even alive? So Cat's been bleeding out in the back of his circus wagon. Nice. And shortly thereafter, the whole circus troupe is stopped by a group of thugs looking for Cat. Probably the same dudes from last night who shot him.
What do they want? Whoa. Hello, friends.
However, Cat makes short work of these dicks, with Thomas's help, of course. Bam, bada, bam, bam. Shoots a guy right in the face. Terence Hill likes shooting guys right in the face in movies. So we see Thomas is good with a gun too, just like his Ace High counterpart. They're both gunslingers, so he's helpful. So they bury the corpses and move right on, allowing Cat time to recuperate in the back of the same wagon. With Mammy's assistant, who doesn't really seem to want to help Cat. He sees him as nothing but trouble for himself and his little cozy circus group.
It's bang bang, and he knocks off 2 men.
Then boom, the circus arrives in the next town. Performing little people and all. Little people, I hope that's the right term. I'm trying to be non-offensive. That's when we see that Mammy acts as the circus fortune teller as well, as he dukes some local woman out of her money. I don't know, maybe what he said was true. We'll never really know. But he does sort of see the future of 2 strangers showing up in town. So in a way, they're trying to say that his fortune telling machine does sort of work, because this kind of does happen in a little bit.
I can see nothing but trouble. Not for you, my dear. For you, nothing but health and happiness.
So Mammy heads back to the wagon where they're keeping Cat, and then you can hear this hilarious overdubbed voice in the background that, to me, if you listen to it, sounds a lot like Bugs Bunny.
Come on, it's getting late.
All right, but I can't fly.
I'll be back to get the others later.
Did Mel Blanc do the voiceovers for this movie? I don't think he did though. Sounds weird though. So back at the wagon with Cat, Mammy listens as Cat tells him that he wants to actually leave, because his presence there is putting all of them in danger, and he doesn't want to be responsible for getting them all killed. Pretty nice of him. Again, Cat's a decent human being. And Mammy's totally cool with this, of course, but goes ahead and runs it by Thomas and the others anyway. And you might notice around this point that the actor doing Terence Hill's voiceover in this movie, I believe is the same one who did his voiceover in Ace High.
There's some money inside pocket of my shirt. Take it. See if you can find me a horse. Make sure you have the horse behind the wagons tonight.
So no more of that over-the-top Southern American backwoods accent from God Forgives I Don't.
I think I'll offer you what you so kindly offered me a year ago.
Even though I'll never forget that one for being so bad it was good. And Thomas thinks that Cat leaving is a mistake considering the condition he's in right now. You know, being shot.
He says he wants to go right now.
He's crazy. Where do you expect him to go the way he is?
Joe is right. He wouldn't get far. But if he wants to go away, why should we stop him?
That's like telling him to go.
So then we get to hear the Little People's Band, and boy, they had to like. However, this one kid here doesn't seem to agree. He looks disgusted by the whole thing, or confused. Sorry, Junior. iPhones are a long ways away. And I think the guy singing in the band sounds a little bit like Ralph. You know, the piano-playing dog from the Muppets. He's got that quality of singing voice. So as this is all happening, Cat decides to just sneak away, hop on the horse and take off. And a good thing he did too, because he would have been discovered, as we see literally moments later. 2 more thugs arrive in town looking for Cat. And go right to the wagon where they were just keeping it that he just walked out of less than a minute ago. So yeah, that was sorta close. Sorta.
Mitch was right when he said he'd wounded him. Look how nice they had him fixed.
That was real close. Then cut to Mammy as he introduces the very special blindfolded trapeze act. Uh-oh.
Remember, children, the slightest distraction means a broken neck. The utmost complete.
That's when these 2 dicks looking for Cat enter the circus tent.
Silence.
And they're noticed too, as 2 grubby looking douchebags tend to stick out to decent, hard-working circus folk. And that's when this dick does this. Yeah, way to ruin the circus, buddy. Then enter Mammy, who acts like nothing's happened.
How'd you like that?
Oh yeah, that was great. That is, if that guy was supposed to shoot him off the friggin' trapeze and fall to what looked like his death. He then distracts the audience with the dancing ladies, cause the show must go on, I guess. Plus, no need to panic the locals with a circus performance murder.
The show goes on just as advertised. And here's what you've been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, the girls.
Oh yeah, dancing boobies. just strolls away too like it was nothing, as a man dies on the ground. Thomas gets a sort of good enough look at him, swaying back and forth from the rope there. So all the circus performers gather around their fallen comrade, poor little Joe here, as they look on in horror and see, yeah, he's dead, as the show just goes on around now. They just sort of stare at this poor dead guy down for a while too, all in shock. Well, I guess people do die at the fair. Circus too. Are they the same? Circus and the fair? Two different things? I don't know. Huh. He did. He definitely did. You're not moving, he did. What the hell are we doing just standing around here? You know, the guys that did this just left. They're probably just right down the road. What the hell are we doing? We should go get them right now. Come on, let's go. Thomas, anybody? Get some fucking revenge. Can't just let them get away with this shit. Let's get them when we can, right? They killed Joe. What are we doing just standing here? No? Nobody? Pretending she didn't happen, huh? Circus is more important. Show must go on, huh? Fine, forget it. Drag this whole revenge thing up to the end of the movie, huh? Alright. Farmer Speed, you don't care, huh? Do what you want. Back to the circus, I guess. Joe. His name was Joe. Then we jump cut to a scorpion. And then Cat. Still badly wounded, has made some sort of camp in the desert at some abandoned ruin, reminiscent to God Forgives I Don't locations, where he bleeds movie paint. He then, in his bleeding to death days, hears an approaching horse. Uh-oh, not again. These dicks never give up, do they? So I wonder why these guys want Cat dead anyway. You might be wondering this at this point too. Don't worry. They get to all that in the exposition cabin scene, I like to call it. It's coming up pretty soon. So anyway, the horse approaches and Cat gets all ready to blow away whoever the hell's on it, I guess. Must be a bad guy. Couldn't be the mailman. Only, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. The hell? It's just a horse. No dude.
Hello, friends.
Then huzzah! It's Woody Strode, kazoo! Thomas, the trapeze artist. He tricked Cat, so that means he's also a pretty good gunslinger and tracker too. So Thomas explains that he only tracked Cat down so that he could use him as bait, so that he could get his revenge on the men that killed his good buddy and fellow trapeze artist Joe. Particularly that asshole that shot him down, resulting in his death. You got a good look at him. It's basically that dude he wants. So Thomas is out to avenge Joe's untimely passing. That's his whole story and his whole thing. Good for him though. You can't just let those dicks stroll the hell out of there and get away with that shit. This is a Western. You have to track them down yourself and hopefully kill them too. Law ain't gonna do anything. Particularly for a black circus performer in the Old West. Let's be real now. And then we cut right to the scene where Thomas guns down a rabbit for dinner as some pretty epic music plays in the background. Nice. He then enters a cabin where he's nearly killed by... Yay! Cat's throwing knife is back! In the one appearance it makes in the film. However, all this means that Cat has fully healed from his wounds and he's ready to go out and kill again. It also means that Cat and Thomas have spent a good stretch of time there in that cabin, hunting rabbits every day and surviving for a little while as he healed. And he sort of established that with this line.
Yeah, looks like our beautiful vacation is over.
Yeah, vacation's over. What exactly did they do in that time, I wonder? The possibilities. Maybe a prequel, all about the time they spent in that cabin. Be pretty boring, I bet. To what some of you might be wondering at this point, where the hell is Bud Spencer? Yeah, it takes a whole half hour of this movie before Hutch Bessy makes his first appearance. We find Hutch is living nicely at a cool ass cabin on a lake, fishing and everything. Living his dream, really. Now, if you recall something that Hutch said to Cat in the previous film Ace High,
Buy myself a nice little farm. You go fishing.
So once again, the writing in these films is loyal to the characters. This is exactly what Hutch said he wanted to do with his money from Ace High. And that's when we meet what I swear is Hutch's gay lover. Which I'm not dumping on, I'm just pointing out. I mean, come on, he's a big, beefy, topless mute that he calls Baby Doll.
Baby doll is my helper.
Yeah, Baby Doll. That he's been living with for who knows how long in his cabin. I'm just curious if that's something that was intended by Giuseppe Colizzi, or probably not, right? Whereas that's probably just something I'm seeing, is that Hutch is gay. There are other scenes that suggest this to them, in my opinion. So I think my theory is a little valid. Or maybe, yes, they're just really close friends. But don't get me wrong, I'm totally fine with Hutch's sexual preferences though. It's his own life and he seems quite happy with it, until Kat shows up with Thomas and ruins it all. And if you notice, this actor with the late 1960s hairdo who plays Hutch's love slave Baby Doll may look familiar to you if you're a spaghetti western fan particularly, because he's done a lot of spaghetti westerns. One particular I think of is Django Prepare a Coffin. He was also in that. He played the character of Lucas in that movie. I also did a video on that. He's Italian actor George Eastman. And I'm starting to think that Kat looks better with the hat on, as he and Thomas just let themselves into Hutch's lovely fantasy cabin getaway when, boom, the cabin door locks itself and Kat and Thomas are trapped inside. Realizing who it is, Hutch soon reveals himself, and the exposition can begin. And boy, do I mean it. It's in this one scene in the cabin that Kat pretty much lays out the entire plot in this whole movie. So if you went to take a leak at this scene, thinking it wasn't going to be important, boy, were you in for a big surprise, because here it is. Notebooks out, class. This will be on the test. It's important. So Kat gets to the point pretty quickly, seeing how pissed that Hutch is to even see him here. But right before his afternoon delight with Baby Doll, Kat goes on about a dude named Finch.
Ever hear of a man called Finch?
No.
A man Hutch got sent to prison some time back.
Wasn't it you got him sent up for hard labor?
No.
Some criminal scumbag, let's call him that. This guy Finch.
Ever heard of a fellow?
No. Have I made myself clear?
Anyway, Finch has escaped from prison
He flew the coop.
and has joined up with about 50 other scumbag criminal types just like himself.
And that with about 50 others like him, he settled in an out-of-the-way spot.
All hiding out in the outskirts of a town of a nearby gold mine.
Because in those mountains, some lucky devil struck gold and staked out claims.
Now all these men have been hired by this rich swindler type guy who sort of runs the local town, or is trying to take control of the local town slowly, and his name is Fisher.
Of course, Finch isn't working for himself. He's working for some swindler who wants to lay his hands on the whole area.
Fisher is the owner of a mining company and is paying Finch and his band of scumbags to scare off or just kill these local prospectors who've made any claim on this particular gold mine.
Imagine that some miners tried to protest. What do you think would happen to them?
I can imagine.
All so an already rich guy can get more rich, as he controls the town through brute force and fear. And murder! Good old-fashioned murder. A real a-hole. So, one of these prospectors is a dude named Sharp.
S-H-A-R-P. Sharp.
This dude Sharp is a close friend of Kat and Hutch's. Thus, Kat's initial involvement with all this is revealed here.
Now suppose that Sharp is one of them.
Sharp a prospector?
Yeah, with his whole family, and he's one of the lucky ones.
So Sharp and his family are among the prospectors who have made claims in this mine. Legal claims in this mine. And Finch and his men are trying to scare him off or kill him so their claims can go unclaimed once renewal time comes around every year.
Naturally, the swindlers tried to take over his claim. Some time ago, Sharp sent for you, but they couldn't find you. They found me, and so Sharp gave me this.
Yeah, a lot of legal shit here.
It's a deed of transfer for his claim. We pretended I'd won at gambling.
And paperwork, too. Ugh. Sharp has signed over his claim on the gold mine to Kat and to Hutch, which Kat did just to get Hutch forcibly involved in all this.
But my name's there too.
That was my idea.
The hell you say? You did it to get me into the mess.
So you can see why Hutch sorta doesn't like Cat. He's always using and abusing him, but usually for a good cause. I'll give him that.
Spell the words out and you'll see the claims have to be renewed every year.
The gold mine claims need to be renewed each year, or they're up for grabs to the first buyer.
And the year's about up.
So if you're dead or scared off, you can't renew your gold mine claim. Get it? Then Fisher buys them all up for himself.
Sneaky low-down creatures, you, this bald eagle there, sharp!
So back in the beginning of the movie, when Cat was ambushed and shot in town there, that was Finch and his men. The building he was leaving was probably the office where he made this transaction with Sharp and signed a gold mine claim over to him. And that's what sent him after Cat instead, with Sharp no longer having a claim on the mine.
So I had that pack of wolves following me.
And the claim's renewal time is right around the corner too. And there you have it, in a spaghetti western nutshell, or spaghetti western cabin shell. Within a matter of minutes, Cat has laid out the basic plot of Boot Hill to us. So Cat guilts, forces, and tricks Hutch into this mess, as usual.
Sharp's children.
Sharp's children? If you're lying this time, I'll kill you.
Your baby doll is just along for the ride, I guess.
You're in this too, don't kid yourself.
Totally in. Totally. Because of course, Cat has a plan. And an elaborate plan too.
We have an idea.
I bet you have an idea.
As we will soon see.
As far as that's concerned, we have to find certain people first.
A shit show is about to go down in whatever town the gold mining town takes place in.
If what you said is true, that place must be a keg of dynamite. They won't even let us get near there.
I don't think they ever mention it. Somewhere near Abilene, so in Texas somewhere, I guess. They mention a town called Liberty at one point.
Are we on the right road to Libertyville?
So we have a team now, and Hutch is in full Hutch Bessy form now, with his shoulders all draped in fur again, as they all ride off together to kick ass and maybe take names. But considering how many people they're about to kill, I doubt it. Now, I was always wondering, where is that Hutch Bessy drape of fur now? And is it the same fur in all three films, like Clint Eastwood's poncho, in The Man with No Name, Dollars trilogy films? Whatever. I still think it belongs in a museum. So they all track down the remains of the circus, where they find Mammy, trying to keep it together by trying to get a rooster to lay an egg.
Since when do roosters lay eggs?
Times are tough and he's a bit dumb every so often. Mammy explains how that when Thomas took off to go find Cat, the whole circus troupe just fell apart and everyone bailed out to go get real jobs. And Mammy, being an old useless fart, found the most trouble finding work.
They all found jobs, except me.
Since Thomas was apparently the glue that held this little traveling band of circus weirdos together. That's when Hutch wakes him up with a news flash to add to Mammy's problems.
What?
He says that your little troubles are over, and one so big you can't imagine it is beginning.
That's when Thomas heads out and gets the old team back. This jumpy nut.
Thomas!
Easy there, buddy.
Do we get together again?
We get together again. Wait! As soon as your feet hit the floor.
Yahoo!
All the way to Mike Myers' guy, who clearly hates his job.
Every single day. And I don't want to have to tell you again. May I say a word, Mr. Collins? Certainly. Go take a flying jump at the moon, Mr. Collins.
So many jobs I wish I had left that way. If only I could walk on my hands. Oh, I know you can do that. Hey, I quit too. You can go to the moon and I can fucking eat my shit and I quit. Fuck you, I quit. Taking this shit with me. Can't do no damn handstand. Huh. A flying trip to the moon? Mr. Collins?
Go take a flying jump at the moon, Mr. Collins.
That's weird for anybody who remembers history. The same year this came out, Boot Hill, is the same year of the actual moon landing, where astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Mr. Michael Collins, who all took a flying trip to the moon. Ooh, coincidence? It's just a strange coincidence, maybe. Or did they do that on purpose? Something I noticed. Even all them dancing ladies went out and became hookers just so they could pay the bills. Because that's where the work was for women of the Old West. The circus and prostitution. Hey, it's a living. I'm not judging.
Laurie! Laurie!
Yes?
Thomas is back! We're going to work again!
Wait for me, will you, dearie? I'll be back and finish it. One of these days.
I'll hold you to that, babe. Really. Beer, come back.
Wonder if she ever finished that guy up. So Cat's plan is now in action, and he's even using Hutch's money to fund this whole thing. Which Cat assures him that once Sharp finds out what he did, he'll reimburse him or something. Yeah, sure.
Goodbye, savings. You'll see. Sharp will remember it when the time comes.
That's what you think.
We'll see.
He's as tight as a hungry man's belt.
And that's when we cut to the local supply store in the gold mining town, where one of the prospectors that they're trying to scare off,
Mr. McGavin, sorry I can't let you have no more credit.
this dude named McGavin,
You give me
but
that
to me,
Sammy.
he looks more like a badass frontiersman George Lucas, who's not afraid of Finch and his army of killers, and plans on standing up to every damn one of them. Hell yeah, you go badass George Lucas. This guy's just great. I'm totally for this dude. He then makes himself right at home in this store too. It's run by this Weasley Guy Pearce prototype dude. Boy, what a bad voiceover Debbie has. Does not match his face.
Walk your ass right out of here, you and your sons.
And if we happen to recognize this guy a little bit, he was also in Django Prepare a
But my wife, my children,
They'll wait for you.
then what's going to happen?
Anyway, he's in cahoots with that head dick himself, Fisher. Since Fisher pretty much runs the town, he owns this store too. And a mining company. He really owns a lot of shit, this Fisher guy. Now this store owner guy is a real lowlife too, that actually sells dysentery-causing products to children. Badass George Lucas's children too.
My little girl has dysentery again from eating the dirty things you sell here.
Thus his reason for hating this particular guy so much. So you're all for badass George Lucas when he starts pushing this little shit around.
You asked for it.
And taking whatever supplies he needs free of charge.
Get what we need, boys. Help yourself and don't be sparing.
He keeps going on about how he's not afraid of Finch, Fisher, or anybody.
It'll be a pleasure to kill some of these sons of bitches with their own goods. The county commissioner will be here in a few days, and if these fools won't talk, I will.
He's got a real nice place set up for himself and his family that he calls his Viper's Nest.
I built myself a viper's nest.
Yeah, his Viper's Nest. So you know it's ready for action, ready for battle, ready to go.
Not even the devil can get in. I'm gonna tell him what kind of trap you got us into.
I so love this guy. Badass frontiersman George Lucas of the Old West. He needs his own movie. He doesn't take any shit from turds like this. I like that. And he later explained his reason for doing this is because he's Irish. Irish people don't take shit for some reason. So again, you go boy. And that's when the local county commissioner shows up. Because it's gold mine claim renewal time. And he's here to see it's done right. And that's when we finally get to see this guy Fisher, who's orchestrating this whole hostile takeover. He will do anything to get that whole mine for himself. Even have every damn one of these prospectors killed pretty much. And he's played very well by the very portly character actor Victor Buono. Like I said before, was King Tut on TV's 60s Batman. And great he was. So as the whole renewal process begins, we're starting to see that a lot of these claims belong to the recently deceased.
Is she here?
Dead.
The land and the concession, if requested, goes to their heirs.
Also dead.
And all the remaining prospectors with claims who've shown up are all scared stiff, as Finch and all his goons are present too, to keep them in their place and not renew their claims. And hey, this actor here was also in Ace High. He's the guy Eli Wallach ripped off for gambling money, remember?
Of course, the ace is always high. You like it?
No.
Playing a businessy weasel again in this one too. Maybe he's the same character, who knows? So this old guy commissioner is beginning to become suspicious naturally.
Nobody who's settling this debt of $52.27
or even promising to do so.
He's beginning to think that this mining company owner may be a crooked, murdering douchebag who is trying to scare off the locals.
Of course, your company has already prepared an official request, I imagine.
No, of course.
Crooked-ass politics of the Old West.
Wilbert Jones. In the matter of concession number
Wilbert
3725,
Jones.
duly listed on the county rolls as numbers 757, 415, and 528.
Saddest looking sack of shit I've ever seen in my life. We are doomed, folks.
Regulations of July 7th.
Oh my holy God.
Monsieur, step up, please.
He's definitely a Wilbert.
Do you intend to renew your concession?
Give him hell, Wilbert.
No, sir.
You serious, Wilbert? I mean, I guess I can understand why you're such a sad sack of shit being named Wilbert and all, but stand up to these dicks. Wouldn't you rather die than let them be big, pushy douchebags? Wilbert, you look pathetic. Look at this, holding your hat and shit. Don't be scared of that guy Finch. I know he has a cool black hat and an awesome suit and outfit and he's really intimidating, but fuck you, Finch. How about that? We can shoot me right here in the middle of the friggin' room. Everybody's gonna know you did it.
So no one wants to renew their claim in fear of being killed, except for guys like badass frontiersman George Lucas and his Viper's Nest, staying all hunkered down with shotguns and rifles and shit, shooting anybody that comes within inches of his home.
Not even the devil can get in.
And this whole scene sort of reminds me of the scene in Once Upon a Time in the West. There was a scene similar to this, where all the thugs are trying to scare people off from buying land or something. Yet this old guy commissioner is a bit of a feisty one. He's actually a decent human being, and is convinced that something crooked and evil is up, and does not approve. So he's a good guy, this old man county commissioner.
I've got rights. You can't stop me.
Let me pass. You'll catch a cold. You ought to be careful at your age. No one's authorized you to worry about my health.
Then into some more awesome music. A Sherlock Holmes pipe smoking little person. To a room where we finally get to see this guy Sharp.
S-H-A-R-P. Sharp.
The one who signed his gold mine deed over to Cat and Hutch. And he has some answers, somewhat. All negative too. Sharp now seems to think it's all hopeless. And that they'll definitely just kill off fucking frontiersman George Lucas types. And him.
Only an Irish family like the McGavins didn't want to give in.
And everyone else is just too scared to do anything. But Cat still has more plan to unfold. A plan that will involve the help of our little friend here, Sherlock Gnomes. So cut to badass George Lucas's Viper Nest. He's got a nice embedded into a mountain cabin getaway here too. Surrounded by rock, making it very hard to get to without getting shot dead. And not far off, Finch and his little band of shitheads are firing back and forth with them in like this endless shootout.
Change the men around, let these sleep. Understand? Alright.
So then we get to see what sort of mission Cat sent our little friend on as he sneaks a message to the county commissioner guy. And cut to the circus! The greatest show on earth is back in town we see. So be there tonight. That's when County Commissioner Guy demands that everyone must attend the circus, since he loves it so.
A circus is a show I can't resist. Mr. Fisher will be our guest.
And clearly this has something to do with Cat's plan and that note that he had delivered to him through the little guy.
In honor of our county commissioner, the management of the mining company wishes to invite all of you to the show tonight. All of you. Without exception.
And when the county commissioner guy says that he wants everyone to attend the circus, he means
everyone! That I would consider it a personal offense not to attend the show.
It's offensive. Offensive to not attend a circus. Offensive. It's the greatest show on earth, you piece of shit.
Don't you worry, Mr. Boone. They'll be there.
It's about this time that Fisher decides that all this shooting it out with badass George Lucas is totally pointless and gives Finch the go-ahead to kill him by any means possible before he gets out of there and starts running his mouth to the county commissioner guy.
Take as many men as you need and do whatever you want, but at tomorrow's meeting I don't want to hear anything more about those people.
But no time for that now because it's circus time! Which is also go time for Cat's big plan. And even Thomas is a little tense as his revenge is at hand too.
Calm down.
I'm calm.
Mammy's so nervous about the whole plan it's about to unfold that he nearly wusses out, only to have Hutch force his ass right into action. Literally.
I'm not pulling back, I just refuse to go forward.
You'll go forward, believe me.
Then Baby Doll discovers women for the first time, and Hutch gets a little jealous. Yeah.
Look alive, little boy. There's no time to think about women. Come on.
Looking like Baby Doll might be a bisexual there, Hutch. Uh-oh! Then the circus performance put on a real eye-opening show, making you see why it was so important that everyone attend. Everyone! They use this as sort of a stage to tell the tale of Fisher and how he's just a rich, crooked mining company owner trying to claim a mine all for himself by scaring off or just killing those prospectors with legal claims. A real dick move, as anyone would agree. Shame on you, King Tut. And this little show exposes Fisher for just that. And they're very clear about it too. So Fisher can see what's happening at this point. He knows what's going on now. And that's when we cut back to badass frontiersman George Lucas's Viper Nest, which gets bombed with dynamite from above. Oof, death from above. He didn't think of that. There wasn't a mountain above his house. So they just dropped the dynamite off the top of the mountain. It lands right in the roof of his house. In this massive explosion. Clearly no one could have survived.
What was that noise? What noise?
Didn't think of that one, did you? Not such an impenetrable viper's nest after all, sadly. So badass frontiersman George Lucas guy is dead. And so is his entire family. Dang. Way to go, George Lucas. I was really rooting for this guy to come out on the top in the end too, but no! Kablooey! Blew his ass off the friggin' map. May the force be with you. Back at the circus! Yay! Fun and games again. The guy and his whole family just got killed. We're gonna jump right back to the circus now. Where the ladies put on a little number. They're not bad too. Catchy. Very talented ladies on many levels. Yet this song is secretly telling people something, but you might not pick up on it because the words are sometimes hard to understand. I don't know if it's all in English or not, but it's telling them there's guns under their seat. So all the prospectors where they're sitting can reach under their seats and arm themselves. You know, part of Cat's plan. That's when a tipsy mammy announces the next act. And it's about to reach the climax too with the Flying Miners. I don't mean children. I mean actual miners that dig for gold.
The Flying Miners.
The miners then swinging back and forth, and the trapeze then simply just start naming off the names of the people that Fisher has had killed so he could acquire their mine claims. Shooting fireworks off the whole time. You know, make a fancy little show too. And it's a long list.
Anthony Billings! George Brady! Tom Miller! Elliot Spencer! Sonny Whitman! Oliver Baxter!
They even include McGavin. You know, George Lucas guy. He's the last name they say.
Paul McGavin!
Now it's clear this is no normal circus performance. They're not even being subtle anymore. So the action finally breaks out, and Thomas is the first one to get his revenge.
Hey, you. Murderer.
Thank you. Closure on that. Move on now. Joe can rest in peace. However, now it looks like Fisher's goons are about to kill Thomas. because no one else, these pussy prospectors, are gonna do anything, even though they all have guns. And that's when Cat and Hutch appear almost out of nowhere, bam, bada, bam, 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 and along with Thomas, shoot down every single one of Fisher's men in the tent, except for Fisher. But don't forget about Finch and his remaining cronies. Hell, they're probably on their way back to town now that badass George Lucas is one with the Force. Heyo! So Hutch, now that he sees that the prospectors are just scared to death of Fisher, Finch, and all his remaining cronies, thinks it's just hopeless to waste their time with these guys. I sorta don't blame him. But, you know.
Not even an earthquake will get them moving. Cut it out, Hutch.
Not all of them are afraid to face the music though, like Sharp and some of the circus performers and trapeze artists.
Come on, what are you people made of? We haven't got time to lose. It's easy to talk. Stand there like a bunch of dummies.
My brother and I would like to come with you.
Just tell us what to do.
And it's a good thing too, because it's go time, baby. No more farting around. Sorta. They all then slowly walk towards the final shootout. Very slowly. Some nice bass music in the background. Sort of sounds like Crow-T Robot's bass guitar solo that he did in, I think it was a Dead Talk Back. It is some nice bass music though. Gives time for Cat to actually apologize to Hutch for ruining his nice little retirement plan at the cabin on a lake with his mute man friend. Hutch is grudgingly cool about it though.
I'm sorry. Don't worry. After all, I was getting bored sitting by that lake.
And it was at this point that I finally think I figured out what Cat Stevens is all about. What his real deal is. He's an angel, fighting for the rights of the everyday man and woman, and those who are being oppressed. He's like a superhero of the Old West. A true hero and a beautiful man too. In the end, it always seems to be what's driving him to do anything. It's all about revenge and God Forgives I Don't against Bill San Antonio. And Ace High was all about exposing that crooked gambling house run by Kevin McCarthy.
Is that a man? A real man?
And now he's helping everyday Joe Blow prospectors with mining claims help fight local corrupt politics. But it is the final showdown though, again, the big ass one too, that involves everyone! Cat, Hutch, Baby Doll, Thomas, Finch's men, Finch, the circus performers, the pussy prospecting miners, even County Commissioner Old Guy gets in on the action, blasting away at everything. It's still a slow walk and climb to the climax as a still tied up Fisher is confident that Finch will prevail.
Because after Finch takes care of those 4 idiots, he won't spare anyone.
And tries convincing all the remaining frightened miners and prospectors to give up and let him go. He won't have them all killed by Finch. And some of them actually go for it too. Yet some don't, to be fair.
You still believe them? Idiots! I don't know what we're waiting for.
That's when one of Fisher's cronies shows up dead.
Come here no time.
And everyone's suddenly convinced that they have a chance now. And all run outside to join the fight with Cat and Hutch and Thomas and everyone else. Aw, too bad, Fisher. We're all done with you now, King Tut.
You know what you've been doing, you're guaranteed amnesia!
You varmin! Thanks for that final in-your-face, Yosemite Sam. And then the battle ensues on the streets with a few wacky kills here and there. Then we get Hutch and Baby Doll's wild ride. Where they eventually see they have no brakes. Unless you mean eggs. Nah. A goofy little circus move and alley-oop. Alley-oop. I mean, even the ladies are locking and loading at this point. Bam, 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 bam. More acrobats. Then Cat Stevens and Finch finally get to shoot it out. Guess who's gonna win? We don't actually get to see. We don't have time for that now. We cut from that serious moment right to full blown right up to pure friggin' wacky now. We're going goofball at this point. started off nice and serious there for a second. Now we're suddenly in a Trinity movie. We just broke the wacky meter. With some of that to-be classic Bud Spencer wacky slaps and head bonks. Definitely paving the way for their Trinity films. From serious to this. They always go full-blown wacky too. It's non-stop. Boot Hill is just a tiny taste of that. So the war wages on in the streets and Sharp is injured.
That way.
And somehow in all this action, Baby Doll manages to get his voice back. Yeah.
Hey, weren't you deaf?
Who knows? Maybe the excitement.
Hey look, it's Tom Tom. Yay! Tom Tom's back! Remember Tom Tom? Tom Tom was one of Bill San Antonio's goons in God Forgives I Don't. The first film of this franchise, like I've said before.
He was a handsome man, Tom Tom. Generous man, too.
Only he must be playing a character in this because Tom Tom, well... yeah, Cat killed him. Maybe Tom Tom's twin brother. Just Tom. Anyway, a mob of little people beat him to death with sticks, but it's okay because it's wacky. Bam, 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 bam. Then Fisher himself gets loose from the ropes he's tied up in and goes cold-blooded killer and shoots Mammy right in the back. Should go to the gallows for that.
That'll send you to the gallows, don't you reckon?
Yeah, see? My boss, always getting me killed. Then enter Cat. Now Fisher is screwed. Blue-eyed Angel is here, and Fisher is forced to show his true wuss-bag colors and surrender to Cat. Mammy then gives it to him with what might be his last dying words.
I told you, Mr. Fisher, you're the real clown.
Not sure because they cut to circus leaving town. They won the battle and now it's time to move on with life. We never see Mammy again after this. So his outcome is a bit of a mystery. Did he die from being shot in the back by Fisher? Who knows? We'll never know.
Oh God, no. No. Not Mammy. Not Mammy. Did you have to kill him? Oh no. Help somebody. Help. Help. He's dying. He's dying. He's dying. Doesn't anybody care? Mammy's dying. Don't go, Mammy. Stay away from the light. Don't you give up, Mammy. Don't you give up. You never give up on anything in your life. You never give up on anything in your life, Mammy. 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 Ah, fuck it. Mammy's dead.
So Cat and Hutch ride off together in your classic ride off into the sunset together form. When Baby Doll, who's now taken a woman and joined the circus, gives his goodbyes to Cat and Hutch.
Hey! Hey! We'll be seeing you soon, friend!
Which a still jealous Hutch is not having. Oh, he lost his little boyfriend. Cat and Hutch then keep riding into the sunset, and the credits start to roll, and we get this jaunty circus tune that you can really dance to, too. I love this one. I dance to it every time. I know, white men can't dance and all that. That's it. That was Boot Hill. The final ride of Cat Stevens and Hutch Bessy. After this, actors Terence Hill and Bud Spencer would stay a film duo, as I've said before. Only they would stick with the wacky comedy forever after this. Which leads me right into my final thoughts on 1969's Boot Hill. Even though this film was far more plot heavy and way more wacky, it still manages to stay very loyal to the characters and be just as entertaining. I still feel like I'm in the same universe, basically. But I will admit I had to watch this one a lot before I fully understood the plot. And I'm still confused about the character of Thomas. The Thomas from this and the Thomas from Ace High, but they're clearly not the same character. I also thought that a lot of the other characters didn't get a lot of screen time. Like the character of Sharp, who a lot of this is about, is actually barely seen in the movie. Like Finch, who barely has any speaking lines in, or Victor Buono as Fisher, who doesn't even show up until the very end of the movie. Sort of like Kevin McCarthy in the end of Ace High. They talk more about these characters before you actually ever see them. Now, one thing that really did stick out to me was how, towards the end of the movie, it seemed like it was having a bit of an episode. For
you know what I mean. Not being able to decide whether it wants to be a serious film or a full-blown wacky comedy. It has such a serious tone for the most part. And right at the height of this action, it takes a complete turnaround and goes boom, punches you in the face. We're wacky. We're not even going to show you Finch fall down from getting shot, which you're going to assume did happen because Cat shows up at the end still. Because it does stay wacky for a while before boom, it punches you right back into serious, and we see Mammy get shot by Fisher. So with this whole turn of wacky events, I like to sort of look at this as Cat and Hutch ride off into the sunset, and then eventually transform into Trinity and Bambino for the Trinity films, which had far more international success. And those films are 100% wacky, off the top, slaps and beans, baby. But we never see a Cat and Hutch adventure again after this. And a few years later, they would re-release Boot Hill in some places and retitle it Trinity Rides Again. So you'll also find it under that title sometimes. And so, Giuseppe Colizzi's Western saga has ended. Thank you, Giuseppe Colizzi, Terence Hill, Bud Spencer, and all those involved with these films. From the dark, bleak world of God forgives, ... I don't, ! To the more hopeful-looking, circus-loving lands of Buono. These movies never got the true attention they deserved, like other spaghetti westerns did. These circus folk all seem so happy in their work of just being circus folk, doing what they love. And I love that. If only we could all be so satisfied in our work. But outside of that little bit, Boot Hill is equally a fun ride and a great spaghetti western. And a fine farewell to Cat and Hutch, who I will miss dearly, but I'm glad they didn't keep doing it and make it stupid or anything. So to celebrate this being the last film of the Giuseppe Colizzi trilogy that I can review, I wanted to do a shot on camera of this imported from Germany Terence Hill whiskey. Take a look at that. There's not much left. Some fine stuff too, as you can see. Nice smell. My lovely girlfriend actually got me this for Christmas as a gift. She knows me all too well. I'm not usually a shot taker, particularly as something strong as whiskey, so I'll probably die when I do this. I'm not even going to do it tonight. There you go, I did it. It's actually not as bad as some of the other liquors I've had. I don't normally do shots, that's why I made a weird face. But anyway, that's it, folks. I do plan on continuing with these spaghetti western reviews, since they actually seem to be doing very well. So if you are watching these and enjoy them, thank you, I appreciate it. And go ahead, leave a comment. And it's fun making these. It's a long process, it takes time, but I do enjoy doing it, so thank you for enjoying them, or not enjoying them. It's just good to know that I'm not the only one out there who enjoys movies like this. I actually thought I was. So until next time, folks, adios, and I'll see you at the movies. I don't think she's coming back. Well, I'm gonna have to do this shit myself.
Hey there, Drunky McGraw. Now that you've seen Boot Hill, you'll be jumping for joy when you get a load of this. Introducing the roughest and toughest prospector action figure you'll ever own.
Nah, no thanks. I'll just stick with my classic Boba Fett here. It can only pose in one position. I lost his sidearm. He fell down all the time, even with a stand. But still, I'm fine with this. I got plenty of action figures to toys. I don't need another one. But I appreciate that, though. Thanks.
Boot Hill's very own take no shit from anyone Irishman Paul McGavin, or as we prefer to call him, badass frontiersman George Lucas.
Where the hell did Boba Fett go? Who the hell's this guy?
Although a minor character in the actual film, this character's presence rises right to the top, not unlike Star Wars' Boba Fett. And he comes armed to the teeth with accessories like badass rifle, a knife, a pistolia, a sawed-off shotgun, a crossbow, and finally, a futuristic laser blaster. This prospector's ready for action. But wait, there's more. Oh, I bet. What kind of badass frontiersman George Lucas action figure would he be if he didn't come with his best accessory of all? I don't know what. That's right, you guessed it. Actually, I didn't. What? Badass frontiersman George Lucas's very own Viper's Nest.
Radical.
Now you two can take on dicks like Fisher, Finch, and his gang of murderers in the safety of your very own Viper's Nest. Not even the devil can get in.
Not even the devil can get inside. Yeah, bam, bam, take that, devil. Bam, die, devil. You ain't getting inside my Viper's Nest, you devil.
To be the first kid on your block to have your very own badass frontiersman George Lucas with Viper's Nest.
Yeah! You'll never take me alive, you a-holes. I'm safe inside my Viper's Nest. Take that, devil. You see that? That's an example of what happened to you all. Stay out of my Viper's Nest. Leave my gold claim alone, dicks.
The badass frontiersman George Lucas action figure with Viper's Nest, only $49.99. Only today, or die a horrible violent death with your entire family.
Wow, I can die a happy man now. Yep, smells like Bud Spencer. Sweat and cheese and beer. That's what I imagine him smelling like.